Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a discussion video. And today's topic is going to be regarding a team that I'm not really fond with in the NHL, and one of my favorite goalies, Sebastian Cossa. Now, since we are in the off season, there's obviously not really hockey being played, and to supplement for hockey content, people take to rankings and specifically prospect rankings. Now, I would say that the general populace is not going to be very well versed on goaltending, and that's fine. But they'll still tend to try to rank goalies, and good for them. Like they want to get in that world, but maybe they don't know as much. I can't judge fully, but that's just what the average fan is. And what I've been seeing recently is that Sebastian Cossa is not really getting placed where he should be. And now you're thinking like, well, how could that be? You're probably looking at the title of this video, like you're looking at, oh, Sebastian Cossa underrated? Like how does that work? Well, here's the thing. Sebastian Cossa is an unbelievable goalie. Like one of the best goalie prospects I've ever watched, and especially in terms of projectability and consistency. He's really great at a lot of different things, elite at many different skills. He's an elite skater. He has elite depth and positioning. He's got the 6'6" frame, and he like frames his hands amazingly well. He's just very athletic. He's extremely smart, great save selection, really good anticipation, and really good tracking. I can't find many faults with his game. And in the past 3 years of playing North American pro hockey, he's been an AHL All Star, and he's been very consistently in a high level AHL starter. And that's a very good omen for the future. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, yeah, like he's got everything going for him. He's got the height, he's got the pedigree. He was one of the highest drafted goalies in the past 10 years. He was Canadian, like he's got everything. So you would imagine that he would still be very highly rated. And especially, he's been playing like very well in pro. So you would think that yeah, people would be like, yeah, this is like one of the best guys we have. Like he's fantastic. But I'm seeing a lot of placements of Kosa around 5, even some like as low as like 10 or something, like across the best goalies in best NHL goalie prospects. And I'm seeing a lot, like probably way more often than not, seeing Trey Augustine, who is another Detroit Red Wings prospect, placed above Kosa. Now, I love Augustine. Like one of the like huge fan of Augustine. He was my favorite goalie from his draft class. I thought he was the best. I think honestly he might even be better than Jacob Fowler. And I'd really like to see the love and support for Augustine. But he's just not Kosa. He's not Sebastian Kosa. And that's yeah, I don't think Kosa should be ranked below him. Like Augustine's great in a lot of different things. He plays kind of a similar overall game to Kosa. He's a very athletic goalie, doesn't always use the athleticism. He's more of a technical positional guy. And maybe you could say that he's like equal in skill level to Kosa, but like still I would give the edge to Kosa for sure. Um But, when all things are equal, that's kinda when I'm looking at, like, who's the bigger goalie, like, who has the better stance, the better frame, and Kosa just blows Augustine out of the water with that. I don't think Kosa is better than Augustine straight up because he's tall. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not one of the people who thinks that the best goalies are the tall ones and you can't be 6'1". No, I think Kosa's the better goalie overall, and even if you wanna say that Augustine is equal with him, Kosa would just beat him out on size alone, which Augustine just doesn't have. So, yeah, there's that. Like there's he's Kosa's not getting ranked where I would like to see him. And the reason for this is because of the Detroit Red Wings. And people have been really liking goalies who are playing NHL games at a young age. You see this a lot, even especially this year, where we have guys like Jakub Dobeš and Levi Marilainen. Like they weren't really on that many radars. Like people knew who Marilainen was for sure. They know who Dobeš, like they knew who these guys were, but they were not thought of as elite goalie prospects. Like not at all. And they weren't they were kind of afterthoughts. They were more of like, yeah, these guys are there. Like Maryland last year, he was a backup in the AHL. He was backing up Matt Sogar. And Dobesh, like he was solid in the AHL for sure, but I don't think anyone was projecting him to be an NHL starter. But after this year, where they came into the league, played, I think Maryland played 14 or 15 games, and Dobesh played around maybe 18, and they both played well. Like Marilina was specifically was fantastic in his short time, and Dobesh was very solid as well. And people are looking at these guys and they're like, yeah, now they've proven that they're good. Like these are proven guys, and they're gonna be, and like they're so young and they're playing NHL games, like they're gonna be amazing. And they're looking at Sebastian Cossa, like he's going to be 23 next year and he's not got a full NHL spot. And they're thinking, well, he was a first round pick. He's not playing NHL games already. And people are kind of cooling on him a lot. And I think that's just a really stupid narrative, to be honest. I think, yeah, Dobish and Carolina, they're great, but they don't have the skill that Kosa has, like not even remotely close. And I'm not saying that people necessarily have them above Kosa. I mean, probably I've seen Maryline and maybe above Kosa, but this is just the general kind of issue that I see that's been going on. And we're not seeing guys who are kind of later in their pro careers that are getting ranked very highly, unless if they're getting NHL games. But goalies like Augustine, who haven't kind of reached the pro scene yet, like they're not expected to play NHL games like at this stage, and so people are looking at them and are thinking, wow, like these guys, like they still have more runway and they're really good. And so they're ranking them higher and then leaving guys like Kosa who have played pro but haven't made the NHL a little bit behind. And this just isn't Kosa's fault, like at all. In fact, I've never seen a team besides mm, maybe Calgary mishandle an elite goalie prospect so poorly, because Kosa is in a system where they had Cam Talbot, who's going to be 38 years old, Billy Husso, who's like 30 and not good, Jack Campbell, same deal, Petr Mrazek, and Alex Lyon. Those were all guys in the Detroit Red Wings system for the 24-25 season. That's a little insane. I mean, Campbell was Coates' backup, so he's kind of like whatever. But they specifically had Ville Husso there to be the third string goalie when Kosa was like easily good enough to play. Like definitely, like I'm not going to say that Kosa was going to come in there and be like fantastic, but you can't tell me that Jakub Dobeš or Levi Merilainen were better goalies than Sebastian Kosa in this past season. Like, and they made impacts at the NHL level. You can't convince me that Kosa was worse than these guys at this current time. And I think Kosa has way more potential than them. So at the end of the day, like getting the games in, it's more opportunity based. It's not necessarily fully reflective of a goalie's capabilities. I think, yeah, like you want your goalies to get into games. Like that's great. Like I'm very happy that Dobish and Marilina are getting this development opportunity. But you can't knock Kosa for being in a situation that doesn't give him the runway. And I think the skill that he has, like the potential that he's got, it is just so much more valuable than like someone like them, like what they have, and even though they've played. And I think his potential, it just completely outweighs everything, you know? Like, take Akira Schmid for a prime example of why early NHL games doesn't mean a whole lot. 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, he came in and played about 20 games regular season, kind of ended the year for the Devils. He was very instrumental in getting them to the playoffs. Put up really good numbers. And then even in the playoffs, he was battling with Vanacek and he was doing pretty good. And he had, like, again, he had good numbers in the playoffs. And people really like that. People really like that, early playoff time and, early NHL success. He was a young goalie, but kind of similar boat to Dobesh and Marilainen, wasn't really that highly touted beforehand. He was just kind of a guy. Like no one was thinking that he was one of the best goalie prospects. But then, like after that happened, like going into the next year, he was super highly touted. Everyone loved him, and like he would have pushed like guys with more talent down the rankings. And well, where do you think Kier Schmidt ended up this year? Well, he was the backup goalie to Carl Lindbaum in the Henderson Silver Knights. And if you really want to have a fun time, go take a look at the difference between their save percentages and the record. Like Henderson was not a good team, but Lindbaum made them competitive, and Akira Schmid did not. Schmid was bad for them. Just straight up. He just wasn't good. He was an AHL backup this year. He hasn't played well at any level since that success. So that's like it's like he doesn't have insane talent. He never did. He's a fine goalie, but he never had that insane talent that made me think, "Oh yeah, this is going to be a great goalie." I prefer my goalies even if they don't have NHL experience under their belt at that moment that have the talent, that have the makings to be an NHL starter. So all in all, I think Kosa somehow, I don't know why, but he is underrated. And I think people need to realize that it's not necessarily his fault. He deserves to be playing games. He is definitely good enough to be playing in the NHL right now. I'm not saying he should be a starter, but he definitely could be a backup. And it's unfortunate he doesn't have that runway, but at the same time, you have to realize the talent and the consistency he's shown. Like he's played at such a high level in the AHL. He's only had like yeah, okay, actually in this past year, he had one game where he allowed more than 4 goals. And that was 5 goals on 61 shots in overtime against the Texas Stars in a playoff game. Definitely not a bad game. And other than that, like save percentage wise, he was looking at maybe 6 bad games. And honestly, like that's good numbers. Like that, like to only be playing like it really like putting up bad stinkers like that in like 40 games, that's pretty good. So, anyways, I think Kosa's underrated. He, to me, is probably the second best, at least second best goalie prospect in the world. I would probably even have him first. Only guy I think he and Askarov are in their own tier, and then I think it's guys like Trey Augustine, Carter George, Jacob Fowler. But that's just unfortunately that's just not where he's being looked at right now. But I think it won't be that long before Sebastian Cossa is starting in the NHL, and not that long before he wins a Vezina. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of style, please leave a comment and give me suggestions on topics you would like to hear. These are very easy videos for me to make, and I really enjoy talking about these kind of topics. I have many that I would like to talk about. So, anyways, I hope you enjoy your day, and thanks for watching.